Out of all the greatest new books in 2018, one Marvel miniseries stood out like a flaming intergalactic thumb, and that is Cosmic Ghost Rider. And if you're wondering, is Cosmic Ghost Rider what it sounds like it is? Yes, it's a flaming skeleton on a motorcycle in space. How does he stay on fire? I don't know, but that's not even the crazy part, because this Ghost Rider, who's living at the very end of time, is none other than the Punisher, Frank Castle. Yeah, the guy with the only uncanceled Marvel Netflix series, that Frank Castle, that Punisher, yeah, that guy. And if that sounds crazy, I'd tell you to buckle up, but you can't do that on a motorcycle. So hold on to your butts, I guess, because this is the craziest character that's been introduced in a hot minute. It's also a great example of why Donny Cates has become one of my favorite new writers, not just in Marvel, but of comics, period. Cosmic Ghost Rider is my favorite new character of 2018, and that's why he's the subject of this week's episode of the Doomcast. Okay, so here's the deal with Cosmic Ghost Rider. When Donny Cates took over the Thanos book from Jeff Lemire in 2017, he started a new arc about what it would mean for Thanos to truly accomplish everything that he wants. Now sure, that first issue went on sale in November of 2017, but the publication date was January 2018, and that's what I'm going by. In that story, he introduced a Ghost Rider who shows up in the present day, kicks Thanos' ass, wraps him in chains made out of the bones of Sidorak, the thing that gives Juggernaut his power, and then drags him into the future with a piece of the Time Stone and just drops him in front of a Thanos of the future. And that Ghost Rider is none other than Frank Castle, one of the very last survivors of Thanos' war against Earth. And one of the world's most amazing murderers. When Frank dies, he goes straight to hell. When he gets to hell, Mephisto makes him a deal. You become a Ghost Rider and murder Thanos, I keep your soul. Frank Castle high-fives the devil and does a wheelie out of hell. But he ends up in space and can't find Thanos because everything's dead and Thanos didn't stick around after that. So when Galactus shows up half dead after a fight with Thanos, Frank is like, okay, I'll trade you all this delicious Earth in exchange for phenomenal cosmic power, and Galactus is like, say no more, fam. So now, at the end of time, Frank Castle, a guy that survived Vietnam, or Operation Desert Storm, depending on how old you are, is now an immortal flaming skeleton biker with the power of the Silver Surfer. He rides up on Thanos with Galactus in tow, ready to chop heads off when Thanos chops Galactus' head off. And Frank is like, oh shit, and then discovers that his pen and stare doesn't work on Thanos, apparently either, and so Thanos is like, hey, if you want to see all of the evil that you could never possibly get everybody to repent from, you can work for me, and makes Frank his servant. So future Thanos makes him bring present-day Thanos into the future, forward in time, to kill the last living thing, which doesn't work out well for Frank, because he ends up getting killed. That's right, even with all his power, he ends up getting smitten. Horribly. So it's a great arc and a masterpiece of storytelling, and I'm not going to ruin what happens for you, but Odin ends up taking pity on his soul and brings him back to Valhalla in another universe, where briefly Frank finds peace, before shooting that peace directly in the face, and that is where this story begins. Frank decides that he can fix all of this if he just goes back in time to murder a baby Thanos. You know, like millions of stand-up bits about Adolf Hitler. And it goes about as well as a million-year-old hack comedy premise too, because he definitely succeeds in changing the timeline, just not at all the way he wants to. Things go so bad that Frank starts finding himself fighting alternate versions of everything from the Guardians of the Galaxy to the X-Men to everything in between, including baby Thanos starting a bar fight in space. I am a sucker for mashups and alternative future versions of any hero or villain, but when you take a guy like Frank Castle, who's seen everything that he's seen, and you put him through a crazy ringer of pain, and you drop him on the other side of space and time and make him almost as powerful as the Phoenix Force, well, you've made my favorite book of the year, hands down. Marvel's announced that Cosmic Ghost Rider will have more time hopping in store, and his appearance will apparently retcon major things in Marvel history, along with joining the comparatively seriously underpowered Guardians of the Galaxy, which is going to be written by Donny Cates as well. So, if you want to start off 2018 right, pick up trades of Cosmic Ghost Rider, Thanos, Venom, God Country, Relay, and Doctor Strange, all by old Donny Cates. You'll see why he's my new favorite. Thanks everyone, this has been the Doomcast. Have a killer 2019.